Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with a journal video. I know, I haven't been here in a while with them. Super busy, which is a good thing. So, I'm going to get back to the last video that you saw was how I made the covers. And then showing you all how I sew my signatures. So today I'm going to stick with another cover because I'm kind of on a roll. I like to have them already put together so that I can just pull one out as I need to make a journal. Lately though, I have been very inspired by these, and I cannot remember what they're called, but I have seen multiple journal makers making these tabs that come out, and like these little tiny folios. Well, what if we make that larger and put it into a journal? What would that look like? Well, we're going to find out, because that's what I'm going to do here. So I've already taken care of some things. I've already taken care of grabbing my papers. I've got some colored dyed papers here, and I've got some coffee dyed papers. I'm not going to put any book pages in here. I've got a bag. I've got a card. I've got some other tags and everything that I'll be showing you. But what I'm going to fill in is a collection by Stamperia. I have been digging and cleaning, and I came across this and just... Huge fan of Stamperia papers. I just love the look that they have. There's always, for the most part, a watercolor feel. So I keep going with this. So what I'm going to do, that is going to be awesome. And of course they put that on the other side of the front panel. Why would you do that? Oh, they make me upset when they do that. Let me move this over. Okay, so I'm going to page through because I want these pages to be at a certain height. So I'm going to grab a ruler and just make sure that if I look at these pages, now I could also measure from up here. And yeah, this one would work because I do really like this coming off. And you'll see why I am so focused on measuring, why that's just coming about. And why, as I said, why I am just so focused in on that. All right, so... let's break this down. It's easier for me to flip through. And what I mean by break down, as you can see, is just to tear apart the pieces of cardstock. Oh my God, look at that image. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. Okay. Oh, that one's phenomenal as well. All right. I'm immediately going to take this one and pull this out because that has ephemera on it. Same thing with this. It's got ephemera on it, so I'm immediately going to pull that out. And same thing with this. We've got a lot of fussy cuts that we can use. So I'm going to pull that out as well because I want those elements. Your ephemera is already there. Okay, so if I page back through this, I do like that one. Now, what I'm looking for are pages. That one I'm going to pull out. I like that one as well. think that would be a good offset. And I'm not sure how many pages I want. Pull that one out too and put that aside. Okay. So I think I'm going to go with these three. I want these three added into the page pile. Now, when it comes to what I mean by the page pile, it's going to be pages within the system, the journal. Oh my God, the system really does. Okay, so I'm going to grab my large cutter, and I actually want my fold out one. When I'm cutting these, I like to have a large surface. So this is great. It actually folds right here. And what I love about it is it's got the rotary blade. They don't die down. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is remember when we fold our cardstock cover in half, it's an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Okay, we fold it in half at the 5.5 inch mark. So since this is a page inside, it's got to be slightly smaller than 8.5 because that's how tall it is. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut an inch off of this piece. Now, of course, I save these things. All right, now, if I take this then, I want to flip it and look at what this looks like as 8.25. Matter of fact, I'm going to keep it at 8.5, and you're going to see why. There's something that I love to do recently. Oh, perfect. Okay. And now I'm going to cut that. And again, I'm going to save that piece. Now, what I want to do is I want to see where the 5 inch mark, 5.5 inch mark, or 5.25 is, because that's where I want this. And I'm just going to look, and that is perfect. So 5.25, 5.25, so that's a half. So this has got to be cut to 10.5. And you'll see why I'm doing this. So I'm going to cut this at 10.5. And again, I'm going to save this as well. I'm now going to take this and I'm going to fold it in half. Going to grab a bone folder because for some reason I'm getting like little tiny paper burns on my finger because actually I know why. I've been doing a ton of these things. Okay, and I think this is actually going to be my center, the center of my book. All right, so I'm going to set this aside though. Now I'm also going to take my cover, I'm going to fold that in half. Don't need to score. I am not worried about being exact here. And again, you're going to see why. But I am going to score that down. I'm going to grab the other cover and I'm going to do the same thing. Now you're probably sitting there going, okay, why are you using two covers? You'll see. All right, so let's all right, so now I've got my two covers. Now I'm going to set that aside as well. So I'm just taking these and I'm building these up. So now let's look at the next one. I love this writing, but I also love this here. I love that section. So again, I'm going to keep that. I want to bring this down. And again, I am cutting this I just got to remember what I did here. That's right, I'm cutting it at 8.5. I want to flip this. Always make sure, because again, this is the part that I want, so you want to cut this edge off when you're at 8.5. Yes, I have cut many a paper incorrectly. All right. Again, we keep that. All right, now I want to keep this side. I really, really like this side. And I want that frame. You know, again, I should have cut this off like I did last time so that I didn't have that. But I kind of like that frame. So now I'm going to come in here again at 10.5. And I'm going to cut this edge off. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold this one in half. And again, we're going to set that aside. So this here, I mean, I love the word treasure, but I really do like this as well. So I'm going to put this in at 8.5. I can always cut out the treasure. And then, again, the same thing. We're going to come in at 10.5. And you know what? I'm going to come in at 11. I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to cut another 1/2 inch off on the other side. Because again, as odd as it is, I just love these blemishes that are going across. And again, I'm going to fold this in half. All right, so when we look at, sorry about that noise, when we're looking at the cardstock, okay, the cardstock pieces are 2 covers. Why on earth would I have 2 covers? And then these pieces here, what I want to do is I want to look and say, okay, this one here, I'm going to cut a section off. I want to make sure that I turn this, and I want to make sure that I'm not cutting into the word. I'm going to press this down, and I'm going to trim that. Yes, I've got a difference in size here, and again, you'll see why. I don't want to cut into this one. And again, I want to make sure that, okay, this is going to sit in my book that way, so this top one's cut. So now I want to look at cutting this piece off. So again, I'm going to put this in, and I'm using this word here and this edge as my gauge. So again, not as much. Now I could look at that and say, you know what? Yeah, I actually want to cut a little bit more off of that. And I'm going to cut, oh, perfect, right there. It still says poem, le poem. So we've got that. So again, this is just bigger, but it's going to sit in the book that way. And now for this one, I want to cut, I'm going to go back over to this side because I don't want to lose these boxes. I think these are interesting and would be great to journal in if we wanted to. So what I'm going to do though, I'm really going to come in on this one. And the beauty of it is I'm actually coming back on this side. So that's fine. So I'm going to come in and I'm really going to bring that down and cut that out. And there you go. So now we have this part. And now we have our writing in the right direction. Okay? So Now I'm going to set these aside. Now I've got my cover. So I want to make sure that I just get different lengths. So I'm going to take my fold and I'm going to put it at the 2-inch mark, and I'm going to cut that section off. So here we've got a fold, and I've got that. Now I'm going to take this one here, and I'm going to make this one at 2.5, not 3. Can be anything you want. You don't even have to measure. You do not need to be writing down these measurements. Okay? You can do whatever it is that you want to do when it comes to your journal. All right? Okay, so now I have these cut, and now I'm going to set these aside. I'm going to move this out of my way. And that just took a little bit longer than what I thought, so sorry. Okay. Now, what I need to do is I'm going to bring in my awesome decal trimmer, and I'm going to be right back because nobody likes this sound, and you know what? I don't want to read the comments. So remember, these all read 8.5 inches. So I'm going to trim the top and the bottom with the decal trimmer. I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. And yes, I do save these. And you'll be seeing in a future video exactly what I saved these for. All right, so I've got writing like that, so that needs to sit like this. So I know that this is my center. I know this one's going to sit this way, and I know this one is sitting, I don't know what way. This way. Okay. So let's start with the cover. I'm taking these two covers and I'm intertwining them. Okay? I want this here on the outside, and I want this here on the inside. So that's the inside, or my cover. So I'm going to set that aside. This is my inside of the book. So I have a card here. I have a bag here. Here are my coffee dyed papers. These are lined coffee dyed. And this is what I do. I line up all of my pages, keeping the center in front of me. These are just colorized coffee dyed papers that I get from Etsy. I've got 3 small cards, or 2 small cards here. I've got a larger card. I've got a time card that I coffee dyed. And then here's that third one that I was saying. Okay. So we're going to start in the center. I'm going to grab one of these, and I'm going to put that, I'm going to start piling up my papers from the center to the front. And I'm going to keep my hand in this at all times. So I'm going to put the card here. Matter of fact, I'm going to shift that down just a little bit. I'm going to take a lined piece of coffee dyed. I'm going to put that in next. I'm going to grab a small tag, and I'm going to put that at the top. I'm now going to come in with one of the cardstocks. And again, I've got that short edge. Now I'm going to come in with another piece of coffee dyed. I'm going to come in with the paper bag. I am then going to come in with this time card, and I'm going to put that towards the bottom. Oh, another piece of coffee dyed. We're going to grab the colorized. I'm also going to grab the lined next. I'm going to grab another short tag and I'm going to put that here. I'm going to grab my next piece of cardstock and I'm going to put that there. I'm going to come in with coffee dyed. I'm going to put a larger one down here. I'm going to put a smaller one up here. I'm going to put my coffee dyed in there. And I'm going to put this in the center. That is my packet. All right. So you see I've got all of these different shapes. I'm going to grab my cover and I'm going to set this all into the center. I'm going to fold it over and I'm going to grab a clip because you want to make sure that you clip this. Now, what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper, tear it in half. I'm going to fold it. I'm going to pick this back up, and I'm going to wrap this around this edge. All right, that's going to flap. We're okay with that. And what I'm going to do is now I'm going to clip that. It won't put an indentation in the actual book. Okay. And then the same thing here so that it stops flapping around. Now, bulldogs are pretty strong. You can use these. I got these at the dollar store. They're just a little softer. And now I'm holding this journal together. And hopefully I was in view when I did that. All right. I'm going to get ready my I want to get ready my cover. Okay, so I'm going to do some sewing and I'm going to be right back. Now this sewing's going to be different. I am not going to be going around the edge. There is only one area that I am going to add sewing to this. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got this clipped. Yes, you were all thinking that. And I've sewn down, I actually changed my mind. I was going to sew down this one. I changed my mind and I sewed down this one. Now, this is the side where the needle was going down. Now, that's always the cleaner side. What I do, now I'm going to take those clips off. So for this side, you can see the punctures. Here's what I do to flatten those out. I take a bone folder or something straight and I just go right over them. I literally just take that, and what it does is it flattens them out. So now you can use any side you want. No big deal. I am going to take this though, and I'm going to fold it the other way now. So now this is actually going to be to the back. I want this to the front. That is all the sewing that I am doing. I'm now going to grab this. I'm going to take my clips off. Throw them, of course. And now I'm going to set this back into my cover. Now, I am not going, if you wanted to, okay, if you wanted to decorate the inside of your cover, you could. But I'm not going to in this case, and you'll see why. I am going to add things to the inside, but not yet. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put my 3 clips on this. There we go. All right. I want that held in place there. That's all I'm looking to do. So now what I want to do is I actually want to put a piece of fabric just along that edge. Just a piece of white. Just a piece of white fabric. And of course, I'm sitting here trying to find it. All right, so I am now going to cut this. Now, I do like if I put fabric either on my spine or on the inside of my books. I do like it to hang over. Again, I just think it adds a little bit of interest and a lot of fringe. I keep that. All right. Now, I only want this, and this I can just keep pulling at. Again, if I keep doing that, I'm going to get all these different things, but we'll just let it like that. So I am going to make this about 2.5. Oh, okay, threads all over. Alrighty. Now I'm going to flatten this out again. Now, I think what I'm also going to do here, I'm going to take this and trim that there. Let's see if I can do this. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this because, yeah, I didn't think so. We're going to shorten her down. There we go. I was able to do that. And I'm just going to continue to pull these threads here on this side just to make that even. And I'll do that later. All right. Again, let it be different. So I'm going to take these off. I'm going to open this up. Grab everything. I'm going to put this down. And then close this up. All right, now we're going to get this all sewn together. So I need some extremely strong bulldog clips here. So I'm going to put one here. I'm going to pinch this down, close her up a little bit. And I'm going to put one here. Now I need 2 more. You really want these types of clips, or really strong ones. These are okay to hold things, but I just don't think they're that strong when you're looking to hold all of this that we've got in here. They just really do clamp down. I like to put my thumb in there, bend it up a little bit so that these papers are going in the crevice and the fold. I'm not worried about the fabric. And did you get out? See how that's bowing? You want to make sure that you don't have too much of a bow. So I just hold it in the center. I open up the clamp, release it, and then you can see that's gone down. All right. So now what we want to do is get our thread, and we are going to make the holes in our book. So I'm just going to set that aside. I like to get this working first. So again, 3 times to the top and the bottom of the book. And then I always go like 3.5. I just always add a little bit because I never know if I want charms hanging. I don't know how long I want the charms. I don't know if I want to put a big bow in the center there. You just never know. So I always like to keep my options open, Because if you guys have seen my other videos, I change my mind on a dime. All right, so now my needle's ready. I've got my awl. And now we're going to puncture. Now, this is not going to be a 3-hole book. This is going to have 5 holes. Okay, matter of fact, it's actually going to have 7. So I'm going to come into the center, and I don't like to make templates. I used to, now I just go with it. I'm going to eyeball the center. I'm going to fold the book, and I'm going to push my awl through. Here we go. That's the first one. And I want to make sure that I go all the way through. Now, I'm going to come up to the top, and I'm going to come down about a 1/2 inch, maybe 5/8 of an inch. Now, I'm going to come down about 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to come through. I'm going to do the same side, same thing on the other side. I'm going to come down about 3/4 of an inch and puncture through. I am now going to come from that one from the top, and I'm just going to eyeball about about an inch from that. So I'm going to do that. You need to have a lot of strength. There's a lot of cardstock sitting there. So with that, I'm going to grab my puncturing tool thingy, because then I can really push down. All right. I'm going to flip her again. I'm going to make this hole just a little bit bigger. Keep your fingers, make sure they're just on this side, or else you will puncture yourself. Ask me how I know. All right, I'm going to come in an inch on here. Again, I'm going to lift this book up, and we're going to go through that. I want to emphasize that center hole again. There we go. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I want to do, too, is I'm going to put one about an inch from the center now. So I'm going to come in, and I'm going to puncture through that. And then I'm going to go to the other side and go about an inch on the other side. And I'm going to puncture through that. Okay. So I've got 3 in the center and 2 on each side for a total of 7. You always have an odd number of holes. At least I do. It's something that I do. Not because I like odds and it's even, because it's just the way that I sew. Works for me. Okay. Now, we're going to start sewing. So this should be awesomely fun. I'm going to go into the center from the inside out. I'm going to pull it through, and I'm going to leave a tail. I'm just going to leave that there. I'm then going to come from the outside. I bend the book just a little bit. I wiggle, and I'm going to come back in. I then come, I keep moving up now. So now I'm going to come from the inside and go out. And then I'm going to come from the outside and back in. Now, I am going to go from the inside out to the hole that's right next to it. I want to make sure I feel it smoothly coming through, because I don't want to pick up, this is wax thread that I'm using. I don't want to pick up any of those threads in case I've got to walk this to make it tighter. Now I'm going to start pulling, and you want to pull straight out. You don't want to pull on an angle. You want to go straight out to get that tight. I'm now going to come into this hole. So again, I'm going to bend the book a little bit, wiggle the needle, and pray that I can get back in there. Hopefully I'm in camera. All right, so I'm going to bend it. And there we go. And again, I'm not feeling any resistance of getting into those threads. And again, I'm going to pull, and there you can see it. See how this is coming out? I don't know if I can get you to see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to travel my needle, and I'm going to push it through. And I should now be separated, and I am. So now I can pull. And if that one doesn't work, I'm going to pull on my center. And again, straight. Come straight up towards you. And you want to make sure that this is tight. All right. I'm going to skip over the center, and I'm going to go to the next one. And now I'm going to do the same thing coming back. But this time I am going to continually pull this. So here's the hole. Somehow I got off center, but that's okay because I just came back. I do like to flip the book and be close to where I'm sewing. Again, I'm going to pull this tight. I'm going to come into the top, come out. And I'm going to pull tight. Now I'm going to come back in. Again, I'm trying not to cross those lines, but it'll happen. I mean, and it's okay. We can fix it. This one's a little tough because I went off the center. So you really need to, I'm just wiggling here. I'm wiggling my needle to find that hole that we traveled. And of course I'm not. And I've got it. All right. When you close the book, it does get a little bit better. Again, now I'm going to pull on this. I'm pulling on this. Now I'm going to come back out. Again, pulling tight. And now I'm going to be coming back into the center. So I'm really going to fold the book. I can tell I'm coming through. And I want to make sure when I come up, got a lot going on there. I want to take this to the other side because this thread is on opposite side. So this center string that you have there, you want to make sure, I like to make sure I'm straddling it. I'm going to take these, pull them both straight up, push down on the book. I'm going to look at the outside and just make sure that these are not floppy. They are not floppy. I'm going to pull up on each individual one. And now I'm just going to tie a knot. And then let that come down. Now you can see I've got a lot. This is perfect. So I'm just going to trim this one just like that. I'm going to remove my clips. And now we're going to close this. All right. So yes, we are off a little bit here. I'm okay with that. I really am. That's why, and what I should have done was start with my book, my punching book, right off the bat. Again, I have the feeling I'm going to be covering this anyway, so I am okay with that. So, what I'm going to do here is I am going to glue this fabric down. So, I need my Fabri-Tac for that. And we all know that I just love fighting with my Fabri-Tac. I love this glue. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love this glue. I love this glue in this container. But, wow, it thickens up. and I cannot find a way to stop. And what's happening is the air is getting in there. But I don't know how the air is getting in there. So, okay. So enough about me whining. That was a lot of whining going on there, guys. Sorry about that. Now I'm just going to wait until this goes down. So I hope everyone's having a good day. Oh, you got to be kidding me. There is no way. There is absolutely no way that this is going to work. I mean, this is going to take me forever. All right, you know what? No, and I know I've heard that you can put acetone in this, but I mean, how do you even shake that up? So if anybody knows, please let me know. I can't throw all of that away. That's going to drive me crazy. That would make me so, so upset. That stuff is just, it's just not cheap. All right, so I'm going to use my art glitter glue because this will work just fine as well. I mean, it really will. Now, I want some of that edge to be able to coil up. And then I'm going to press that down. Now, yes, it is going to come through the material, but it's not going to do it that bad. I'm going to come in with my brayer, shake the camera, and now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And you know what? I like kind of the way that looks, so we're going to let that be like that. And again, I'm just going to fold it up, and I'm just going to add some glue. And again, I want it to be loose. Again, it's a piece of fabric. I'm going to put that on an angle. Again, trying to make it as natural as possible. It's not going to go anywhere because we've sewn this in. And now we're just putting glue on the area so that we can keep it even more in place. So again, come in with the brayer and just smooth that out. All right, so now we have that. So let's page through what we have here. So what I've done and what my idea is, so I've been seeing all of these wonderful folios, and the folios that I'm talking about, I saw Gail make one and she saw somebody else, and it's the small ones where you've got this little lip on the inside and you add like journaling cards to it, or you can make a pocket off of it. It's almost like these tabs are sticking out and you've got to like score it at a 1/2 inch and then an inch and then a 1/2 inch and then 3/8, and you create this accordion type thing. Well, why couldn't we do that in a journal? And I'm sure somebody else has done this. So if they have, I'm giving them credit. So thank you. I haven't seen it yet. So as we look at this, I've got this here. Now you can see why. So the reasoning for 7 stitches, thin piece. If I did my normal stitches, only 1 stitch would have caught this piece and it would turn. It would actually, now that I've got 3 stitches in that, this is in there securely, full page. This here is caught. You can see it just missed it right there. It just missed it on the center, but I still have 2 pieces. So now it's not going to slide all over. Same thing with this. It's caught. You always want your pieces that you're sewing in caught at least by 2 stitches, 2 holes, because then it won't slide around. It won't pivot. So knowing that I have these tabs coming out, I added more stitches to it. so to make sure that they were held. If I did not have these tabs in here, I wouldn't have cared, and I would have stuck with my 3. Okay, so now I've got this. I've got this. So you can see we have all of these different types of tabs, types of angles that we have. What I like about this, and what I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to create the videos, is how we're going to decorate these and what we're going to do with these, how they're going to look, because these are embellishing platforms. That's what I'm going to call them, embellishing platforms. Whether it's a drop pocket, whether it's a different type of pocket that you're creating, whether it's a journal card coming off, you've got so many different possibilities now. You know, this, you could very simply take this and make this a pocket on this page. So again, or same thing, you can decorate this, glue this down. So you have all kinds of abilities to embellish now in this. And then the same thing with this one. Okay, you can make this a large pocket back here, or you can make it a flip where you add something that comes off this, because this is already decorated. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. I'm just going to keep working this because we've got a lot. There's a lot in here. This is going to be a chunky monkey. This is really going to and go through. I did leave a section thick enough to entwine my ribbon, my organza ribbon, because that's the closures that I do, whether it's sari silk or organza ribbon. This is how I do the enclosures. I am not a eyelet person. I just don't like the other side. It drives me crazy that it splits like that. It can be a sharp edge. I know it's me. I'm doing something wrong. So that is what we're going to do. So stay tuned to the next video where you're going to see how am I going to decorate these. What am I going to do? How is the cover going to look? And how am I going to hide that I went on an angle sewing up so that nobody sees it? There is always a way that we can do that. So you'll see that soon. So see you next time. So again, when I come back in the next video, pockets, tucks, tags, all of that, and then especially how I'm going to embellish these. All right. So it's going to be this flip out journal type thing. So I've got it in my head, so it's going to be extremely different. So I hope you enjoy it. As always, I'll try to link down to some of the things that I have here. If not, make sure you go to, I have an Amazon storefront that really does a lot of the housing when it comes to my journal stuff. Also card making, also coloring. So I've got different lists there that you will have access to, and you can find a lot of the products in there. Again, it is an affiliate link, to be very honest. All right, the majority of my links are affiliates. And what that means is if you use that link to make a purchase and other purchases through that link, I get a small commission and there's no change in the price for you. Okay, meaning your price doesn't go up so that I get that commission. All right, just want to be transparent there. Okay, smile, enjoy. I can't wait to see what this looks like. I think this is really going to be interesting. But enjoy what you're doing today. And yes, it's still important to me. Always be creative each and every day in your own way. Take care, everyone. Till next time.